Right, hello and welcome back to a brand new video now. Today I'm going to be reviewing a film that came out quite a while ago, but it still stands up really well today, and that is Blade. If you don't know, this is a Marvel film, although it's really far away from what a Marvel film is normally. And it is an action film about, it's about vampires, but it's kind of like, it isn't a romance vampire film, if you know what I mean, and it's not really a horror. It is classed as a horror and an action film, but yes, it has horror elements, but it isn't romance like at all really. There's certain scenes, but Wesley Snipes' character never really gets into it. And this film is ultra violent. I'm just gonna say, if you're like, oh, it's a Marvel film, go check it out. Why is it an 18? Oh, it's probably nothing. Yeah, it's because it's the violence. It is ridiculous. This film, and you could probably tell like within the first 4 minutes. I just rewatched the scene because that is probably the best part of the film. And it's probably got one of the best intros to a film of all time. It's called the Blood Rave scene, and it's this guy gets taken by a girl to this like disco. They think that they're gonna have a party now, and they're all like dancing on this disco. And then they say like bloodbath, and they all start chanting it, and then like the sprinklers above their heads just turn on, and all this blood just starts pouring down on them, and everybody just starts dancing. And this one guy, who's obviously not a vampire, like starts freaking out and crawling along the floor in like this pool of blood, and they're all like just dancing and going crazy. And it was really weird to watch, and it was really cool because he starts crawling and he looks up, and there's these guys' boots there who's just stood still, and he looks up and it's obviously Wesley Snipes, who's Blade. And this first scene had pretty much everything. It had shock, it had awesome angles as well, it has really cool acting in the way that this guy was like just freaking out. It had great special effects with the blood, and it had one of the coolest intros to one of the coolest characters. And it kind of had everything, and that's why the intro scene was so cool. And then Blade just starts killing people, and it's kind of like, in some films the violence is used just as a gimmick, whereas in this one it was actually used to kind of show that these people are crazy and that they are vampires and that they enjoy blood, and that's the whole point of it. And then not only does it have one of the best action scenes of all time, which is the intro, but it has action scenes all the way through that are all great. They're all consistently great, and Blade's weapon, which is the sword, and also he uses machine guns and all that, is such a cool kind of character. And I know that they probably did it in the comics, but I never read the comics and I've only seen the film. But I guess he did a really good job because the character that was on the screen was really awesome. So yeah, he's got a great main protagonist, got great other characters too. So it's got this guy called Abraham, who's played by Chris Christopherson, and he did really cool. He was like this. He isn't a vampire, but he builds the weapons for Blade to go and hunt them, and he was really funny. The way that he had a relationship with Blade, it was really cool to watch. And then there was also this other guy called Donald Logue, and he was like, I guess he was a comic relief in a really dark, humorous way. He was one of the villains as well, but he wasn't like a proper villain. Like, he just thought he was gonna go like get loads of power at the end, and then the main villain's like, yeah, sure thing. So I thought that was really cool, and I did like his character, and he was funny. And then the main villain, although he wasn't menacing at all, he did really good at portraying this kind of like slick, cool vampire type guy, which I thought was really cool. And I did like his villain, although it wasn't the most memorable character ever, and he wasn't that menacing because he wasn't like stocky or he wasn't big or anything. He was just kind of cool, and he kind of had his own way of, influencing people into thinking the way that he thought. So I thought that was really cool. I did like the term Daywalkers as well that they give Blade, because of, obviously he's half immortal, half mortal, because he's half vampire in that. And the whole backstory with his mother being bitten by a vampire literally as she's giving birth was really cool, because it shows that he's like, although he does kill vampires, he is half vampire as well. So that was really cool. And then this film had one of the most, I don't know, it feels like The Matrix ripped it off, but they couldn't have, because they both came out like within a year of each other, but Blade came out first. And it's the bullet dodge scene, and it's Blade is looking at the villain, and the villain shoots, and he like moves out the way, and he just skims his face. I was like, that is, the Matrix took that off. Matrix felt like it, after watching this, The Matrix just seemed like a rip-off of Blade. Had the same like kind of outfits, had the same kind of character, had the same bullet time things, and I thought that was, although they obviously didn't rip each other off because of the short time that they were made, I did feel like Blade kind of did it first. And that bullet dodge scene, although it was better in The Matrix, it was still like a big moment that a lot of people will kind of look over because they're like, oh look, The Matrix did it as well. And they also pretty much did the exact same thing in Metal Gear Solid 2, like right at the start where he shoots and he dodges it. So that was really cool. But yes, it's got a great hero, probably Wesley Snipes' most iconic role. I thought that all the characters were fun, all the action scenes were great. That intro scene is one of the best intros to ever, and it's the one of the only vampire films I've seen, but it's one of the, well, it is the best. So if you haven't seen Blade and you think it's a Marvel film, don't watch it because you think it's a Marvel film, think it's going to be like this vampire action horror film. And it is really good, so go check it out if you haven't seen it already. Comment down below if you've seen it, and what did you think of the film, and I will see you guys in the next video.